Hello, and welcome to iCast Fireball. In this video, we will be getting to know one of the most popular classes known to D&D 5e, the Fighter. Without further ado, let's hop into it. Right, so let's say you want to have a fighter character. There are a lot of different ways to play it, and it depends on the build. How you build it, of course, depends on how you want your character to be played. If you're looking at someone who uses agility to fight, think Legolas from Lord of the Rings or Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games, then you're going to want a dexterity-based fighter, so make dexterity your highest stat. If your wish is to be someone that uses more brute force, think Chewbacca from Star Wars or Bucky Barnes from the MCU, then you're going to want to make a strength-based fighter, so make strength your highest stat. Whichever one you choose, your second goal is to be able to take a lot of hits before you go down. So that's where Constitution comes in. You should make that your second highest stat, unless, of course, you want to take the Eldritch Knight subclass, but more on that later. I know what you're thinking. That's cool and all, but what exactly can my fighter do? I know that's probably not what you were thinking, but it's what you're thinking now! Anyways, what a fighter can do depends on their level. For instance, a first level fighter can only attack once per round, but that changes to 2 times when you hit level 5, 3 times when you hit level 11, and 4 times when you hit level 20. There's also an ability called Action Surge. This basically lets you take an extra action 1 time per short rest, or 2 times per short rest if you get to 17th level or higher. In a nutshell, you can now attack 8 times per turn. This means you can average 16 damage per round, 32 damage if you Action Surge, and 40 damage if you Action Surge and you're level 20 with a 2-handed longsword and all of your attacks hit. That is a lot of conditions, I'm just now realizing that. To put that into perspective, the average orc has 15 hit points, which means you can kill an orc in 1 round without Action Surging. And that makes sense. I mean, they are really, really weak in Lord of the Rings. Their helmets, not so much. Now, there are other things that fighters can do, but they mostly focus on physical strength and fighting, hence why they're called fighters. Let's move on to subclasses. As of this recording, there are 11 subclasses of fighter. They can be found in several of the D&D resource books, from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything to Xanathar's Guide to Everything, but just for this video, we'll be going by 2 subclasses, both of which can be found in the Player's Handbook. I will be explaining the Champion and the Eldritch Knight. We'll start with the Champion. This is meant for those of you that want to focus on the physical combat side of your fighter. The Champion abilities start by increasing the chances of a critical hit, which would normally only happen if you rolled a natural 20. At level 7, you gain the Remarkable Athlete ability, which lets you add half of your proficiency bonus to your skill checks as long as that skill is Dexterity, Strength, or Constitution. At level 10, you get to pick an additional fighting style, and when you get to level 18, you begin to learn how to heal yourself, just so long as you are at less than half of your hit points. Like I said, this helps your fighter's physical combat, and that's what makes this one of the most popular fighter subclasses. Now, let's move on to the Eldritch Knight. This subclass is similar to multiclassing, or taking separate levels in the Wizard class. Like Wizards, they use their Intelligence score to cast spells, so make sure your Intelligence is your second highest stat if you plan on taking this subclass. They're quartercasters, so they don't know a whole lot of spells, but they do know enough to amplify their fighting with, say, fire. If you got lost when I started mentioning spells, don't worry, I just did a video that explains how spellcasting works, so you can go check that out. I'll put a card here and also a link down in the description if you were interested. So that was just a very basic introduction to the fighter. Of course, the best way to learn how to play the fighter class is to play as a fighter, but the goal for this video was to just give you a basic rundown so you know if you'd be interested in playing a fighter. If not, there are so many other classes that you could use, all of which are very fun. Anyway, that's all for this time. If you enjoyed this video or it helped you understand D&D even a little bit better, feel free to hit the like button and click the subscribe button with post notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any future video I add to the channel. If you have a question, drop it down in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'll see you next time, and may the dice roll ever in